Hey everyone, this is Alease Michelle, your online marketing and branding coach, and here's another audio podcast today series. Into this series, we're going to talk about the power of branding. Now, let me just say to you guys, I still have not come up with a name for this podcast, so I need your help. Make me some suggestions on what I should name the podcast, okay? All right, and so this episode is sponsored by my branding and business toolkit. It is full of worksheets and templates and checklists to help you build a great brand, a standout brand, so that you get noticed in the feed, that clients will start to notice you. So go over to aleasemichelle.com/toolkit to download your free business and branding toolkit. Okay, so the topic of the day is building a great brand and why it's important and how to achieve it. So this is around the theme of the power of branding. But before we get into it, I definitely need to do some sharing. You know how that goes. Sharing is caring. So let me do that. And we are going to get right into the topic. So this topic, guys, is very dear to my heart. And the reason it is dear to my heart is because I love branding. And branding has literally put my business on the map, has gotten me a lot of clients. It's helped me sell more of my digital products. It has helped me increase my speaking opportunities. Oh my gosh, so much since I implemented branding into part of my marketing. You know what? I literally say that branding is, everyone should be doing it. Everyone should put that in consideration when they're building a business. Do not sleep on thinking that you don't need a brand, or that branding is not necessary, or thinking that it's some kind of buzzword that people are just talking about with no nonsense. Well, guys, branding is, I can't even tell you more or less that how powerful it is to have a strong brand. The importance of having a strong brand is that when people start to recognize you, basically a brand is your reputation. Okay. I was talking to a well-known, radio host I think it's about a month ago, and she asked me about branding, and I told her, and I had to put it in a context that most of us who work a 9 to 5 understand. And I said to her that branding is like your resume, and your followers, your friends, your engagement is your references. When I gave her that analogy, she was like, whoa, let me sit back and take that in. Branding is your resume, and your followers, your engagement, your comments that people are leaving is considered your references. So I know for us corporate America people, resumes were the big thing. We put everything on it. We made sure it was bling blinging with all of our accomplishments, all of our, our accolades, our degrees, what our qualifications are. We did not leave anything out when we did our resume. You have to think of branding the same way. And basically, because we now made this shift to doing so much online, your online brand is your resume, and people are Googling you. They are looking at your page. They're trying to figure out, if you say, are you doing what you say that we should do or you should do? Or, it's just really important, and I can't stress, and that's why I am talking about it, the power of branding. And I want to talk about two things that you can put into place to ensure that your branding is consistent. Hey Sheila, how you doing? Again, branding is really important for me. When I got downsized some years back, I don't even remember the year. I try to block that out. But I got demoted from a position that I thought I was the bomb diggity. And basically they said that I didn't have the right degree. And at that time I was working on my doctorate. And that doctorate was not the right degree for that position. And you guys ever know when you work in the education field, you have to have like the right degree. Well, that was really devastating for me at that time. And because I was known in the North Carolina, Charlotte area as the fashion director, right? I ran the fashion department. I was known as doing fashion shows, helping people get interns, bringing, guest speakers in, and, connecting the community with the fashion industry and connecting the students with the community. Well, once I stepped down from this position, I no longer was known as that go-to person for the fashion industry in the Charlotte area. So I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? So I quickly, started to think about, what, you have a graphic design background. What would you do if a new client came to you? And basically I said, well, we would just do a rebranding campaign, basically. And that's when it clicked for me that I need to do a rebranding campaign for myself. Once I put the rebranding campaign on me, right, and said, okay, now you're not the director anymore. You're now going to go in this direction. And at that time, my direction, my love, and my passion, and it still is, was my artwork. And so you now need to be known as a mixed medium artist out in the Charlotte area. What would you do? How would you do that? And so I immediately took to online, because online allowed me to reach the masses quickly. And once I was building my persona out, I literally had to change my pictures, because typically I had the corporate America kind of profile picture. I needed to have more of a relaxed kind of artist creative look. I started showcasing my work just like I would do in my portfolio. I started, uploading those to photo galleries. And I started making sure that my fonts were consistent, my color schemes were consistent everywhere that I went. At the time, only Facebook and Twitter were the most popular social media platforms at that time. So, and like Blogger, if you guys are familiar with that, that's a blogging platform. It was called Blogger, blogger.com. And I think it still exists. It was a feature from Google. So they were the only platforms that you could literally be seen at, because blogging was really taking off during that time. So I took what I would tell my client, and I put it on myself, and I branded myself. And guys, once I did that, doors started to open for me. I was asked to showcase in my first gallery show. That gallery show, I sold out every last painting. Every last piece of artwork is sold out. I was published in 2 national magazines and 2 local magazines. I was interviewed on news shows. Oh my gosh, I was commissioned. Oh man, I had a lot of commissioned products. One of my art pieces was showcased on an album cover for a local band here in Charlotte. So once I started to brand myself and really get serious about it, things started to take off. So that's the reason why I wanted to share with you the importance of branding and what a great brand would do for you. And that's just my story. I mean, man, there's so many examples of great brands I have. I mean, I can say Apple and you immediately can envision what the Apple brand looks like. Okay. And we can talk about Microsoft. We can talk about Target. We can talk about Walmart. All of them have a visual brand, and a brand that represents their personality, who they are, and what they value. So the 2 things that I want to share with you are, how do you create a consistent brand, a visual brand? Because that's where most of us go astray, is keeping that visual representation consistent throughout every platform that you have. Okay. So the one thing I want to recommend is that you create your own style sheet or branding sheet. And what that consists of is that you put together a sheet with all the fonts or font styles or typefaces, whatever you want to call them, that you use in your branding. Okay. Typically, you want to stay with about 2 different fonts. One of my favorite fonts is Railway. I can't say my R's. Railway and Helvetica. I use those 2 fonts, and I use a cursive font called Brush Strip. Okay. So script. Did I say that right? Script. Okay. And I use those fonts all the time. So they are on my style sheet to ensure that if I hired an assistant that needed to do any of my graphics, that they're always using those fonts. I don't want any other different fonts. Don't use them. Okay. That is the fonts that I use. I also include my logo and what that is. Now I have two logos. One is just my initials and then one that is my full name. And they are both used in the font choices that I like the most, which are Railway and Helvetica. So that would be the second thing that I would put on my style sheet. And I would make sure to upload those into folders so that if I did have to send them to someone, that they will always use the same exact logo, that they don't recreate anything, that they don't copy and paste it from somewhere and then it becomes pixelated. It is always consistent. Then once I've done that, I choose my color schemes. I usually have about, thank you, Sheila. I usually have about 4 to 6 colors that I use interchangeable. And so those are going to be in the Pantone colors or the hex colors. Those are really easy to find if you're working with your graphic designers. If not, there's this plugin from Chrome. Let me look at it. I think I have it on my computer. I can tell you. There is a plugin that you can add to your laptop called the eyedropper. It's for the Chrome extension. I think they're called extensions. All right, guys, I'm back. This is Alease Michelle, your online marketing and branding coach. We just had a really bad connection. I don't know what happened. But for those of you who are picking up the second half of the call, I just mentioned that you definitely want to create your style sheet. And I mentioned that you want to include your logo, your font names, and you want to include your color schemes. You want 4 to 6 color schemes. Along with that, on your brand sheet, you want to also include the pictures that you want to always include in your bios and your profile. So you want a really good headshot. You want a really clean and clear headshot that doesn't look unprofessional. And the reason why I say that doesn't look unprofessional, you guys know those car shots that we take with our phone. You don't really want that. And I'm not even recommending that you have to go get these super duper high end photo shoots, especially not when you're just starting out. But you do want a really good photo of yourself with your eyes open and you're smiling. That is really, really key for your brand. People want to engage with someone who is friendly and that they know is just really easy to connect with. So you want your photos to be of you smiling, right? So get a couple of pictures of you, a full length picture of yourself, taking in really good lighting. And again, your phone does well for someone who's just starting out. And then as you start to build up your income and generate more income from your business, then I would say go out and get a professional photo shoot done. But you want a full length picture of yourself and you want a good headshot of yourself and you want yourself smiling. Okay, you want a little bit of makeup on, even if you don't wear makeup, you want a little bit, because I can tell you this, the camera will wash you out. It will wash you out. So you definitely want to include some kind of makeup. And you want to also take a photo of a look that you 9 times 10, you typically look like the most, right? And I know that there is this freedom of having different hair and a different hairstyle every single day. And that is okay when you don't have a business or a brand. People want to know that you look a certain way for a little while so they can get used to you. And then if you want to do a dramatic, haircut, a hair color, then I think they would go along with you with the transition. Okay. But this look that you change every single day, a different look every week, can be a little confusing to your brand, and it's confusing to your customers because they don't know, is this the same person? Literally. Okay. So you can't make that assumption. So when you do use your photos, you do want to stick with a look that you plan to be consistently have for a couple of, at least a year. I'm not saying that you have to look the exact same way every day, but very close to it. An example for me would be if I got a really dramatic haircut. Okay. If I did that, then I would need to schedule another photo shoot and just redo my pictures all over again. Change my profile picture, change my picture on my style guide, all of those kind of things. So everything looks consistent, and I wouldn't use the pictures of me with longer hair. So I think that, I hope that makes sense. Okay. All right. So that's your style guide. You definitely want to put that together so everything is consistent. And then the second thing is that you want to be very diligent about your voice and how you speak, okay, and your message that you put out there. Now, I know when you're first starting out that can be a little hard because you don't know. You really don't. You're really finding yourself. And I think as you're starting out, people understand that. But as you start to do like Facebook Lives, or, audio live streaming, or just doing videos or doing posts, you want it to be in your voice. And I know sometimes you're thinking you're sort of hard on yourself. And I was hard on myself because you were thinking, oh my gosh, people are going to hate my voice. I'm not going to sound right. I need to make sure I sound more smarter. I want to make sure I say words that I can say, all these kind of things. Well, you know what? I realized about 6 months in trying to be somebody else, that was hard. It was hard trying to be somebody else and not just be me. So I had to develop my own voice, and a voice which was crazy. I should have known that my current voice that I was using, and when I mean by voice, the way I speak, the words, my values, that's what I consider my voice, that my voice was good enough. Shoot, I was paid very nicely in my corporate world to speak every single day, right? I was an educator. And so you spoke in front of the classrooms every single day. I was get paid to be on stage. So I didn't know why I was just, flippy, but I guess that's where the insecurity and lacking the confidence when you first start your business that you just have to develop. And the only way you can develop that is to continue to do something every single day that brands you, that makes you stand out, that gets you in front of your ideal customer and clients. So practice your voice. And I can tell you guys, being you is just fine. Trying to imitate somebody else, trying to speak a certain way, dress a certain way, look a certain way, post a certain way like them, is not going to be you, and it's going to become very hard. So be you. So that's the second thing that I want to share. Find your own voice, be diligent, and keeping that consistent, right, as you grow in your business. Okay. So today, that was the beginning of the power of branding. As we move forward, I'm going to talk a little bit more about your brand reputation, okay? And I'm going to talk about having a clear message. That's a little bit about marketing message so that you're saying the same thing over and over again. And we're going to also talk about the problem of rebranding yourself over and over again, okay? So those are going to be coming up for the next couple of days. So stay tuned. I hope we don't have a little glitch like we did this earlier. But I will be talking more about the power of branding starting tomorrow around about the same time, around about 6 o'clock. So guys, I see you tomorrow, same time, and may the power of branding be with you. All right. Have a great day.